Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we'll be doing a power yoga vinyasa flow for those of us looking just to build up a bit of a sweat and get a bit more active in our practice. To begin, we're going to start off in a seated position with the legs crossed and our palms either on our knees or on our laps. And we're just going to close our eyes, just take a few breaths, deep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, and we just center ourselves and focus on our practice. Feeling your lungs expand with every inhale and just letting everything sigh out through the mouth as we exhale. And still keeping your eyes closed, we're going to take our left hand and stretch it out to the side, letting our fingertips just rest on the mat, and then letting our head hang over down to the right, bringing our right ear to our right shoulder. We get a nice deep stretch in our necks. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can maybe take your right hand, place it on your left ear, just get a nice deeper stretch. Releasing as you go onto the other side. Right hand up, right fingers down to the mat, left ear down to your shoulder, and then bring your left hand over to your head if you did it on the other side. Releasing, kind of back to center. You can open your eyes and we can go through some spinal twists. So twisting your upper body over to the left, you're going to place your left hand right behind your back, and your right hand on your knee. You're just going to twist your whole body over and maybe see if you can look over your left shoulder behind you. Releasing your hands and we move on to the other side. Right hand behind our backs, left hand on our right knee, and just twisting and pulling over, almost as if you're wringing out a cloth. With that, come back to center. You can meet me on your hands and knees for a tabletop position. And we're just going to warm up our wrists, going in a nice circular motion around, making some nice big circles with our upper bodies, going either clockwise or anti-clockwise, doesn't matter. Go, keeping everything nice and loose before swapping over and moving on to the other side. Then coming back to stillness, we're going to twist our hands so our fingers point out to the side of the mat. We're just going to sway our bodies from left to right, Getting a nice deep little stretch going in our wrists. Going over just to the point of you feeling the stretch before moving on to the other side. Then coming back, and go through some cat-cows. So taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, we're going to dip our bellies, lifting our chin up to the sky. And as we exhale, bringing chin to chest, rounding our backs out. Breathing in for cow, breathing out for cat. And the last one, you can come back to center. You're going to step both our feet out into a high plank, holding for a breath for an inhale. And then as we exhale, lifting our hips up and pushing back into our first downward facing dog. For me, you might just want to walk your dog out, pedaling your feet one leg at a time, getting some nice stretches in your hamstrings and your legs. Before meeting me in stillness, starting with our left foot, lifting it up and bending our leg and lifting our left knee up, making it the nice highest point of our bodies. And then bringing our foot over and placing it next to our left hand as we meet me in a lizard stretch. From here, you have some variation options you can go for. You can either keep your back leg up or you can bring it down for more of a passive lizard. And if you're feeling up for it, you can maybe go to a lower position, either onto your elbows or even to the side of the mat. As you just hold this position, feeling the stretches in our legs and our thighs. Coming back up to center, kicking our leg back, do a plank. I'm going to go through a gentle vinyasa, so gently lowering our knees down to the mat, and then bringing our whole upper body and chin down to the ground. Then going onto our forearms, we're going to push our upper bodies up, meeting in a Sphinx pose, lifting your chin up as high as you can. Before coming onto your hands, tucking your back toes and going back into your downward facing dog. Moving on to the other side, lifting your right leg up as high as you can before bending your knee and making it nice highest point as we stack our right hip onto our left before bringing our right foot over to our hand. And once more meeting me into the lizard like you did on the other side, either staying up or coming down onto your elbows. Bring your palms back down to the mat, kicking back into a plank. And throughout vinyasa, you can once more bring your knees down, or you can keep them straight as we lower our whole bodies down. And you can either go into a sphinx, or you can keep your palms on the ground and push your body up for cobra, or maybe even lift your thighs off for up dog. Or tucking your toes and pushing back into your downward facing dog. Now starting with our flow, with our left leg kicking up as high as we can, keeping our legs straight this time, placing our foot between our hands, as we bring our hands up, as we raise into a high crescent lunge. Making sure our knee is stacked over our heel, our front knee is stacked over our heel. We engage our core, just try and keep our balance. Then framing our front foot, kicking back into a plank. And as we exhale, we're going to chaturanga down. And now for a back bend of choice. Before exhaling back into our downward facing dog. Moving on to the right leg, kicking up nice and high for a three-legged dog. Exhaling as we place our foot between our hands and meeting in a high crescent lunge. Exhaling, bringing our hands down to the mat. Meeting back into a plank. As we once more lower down as we exhale. Coming up for our back bend. And once more into our downward facing dog. Moving on, left leg kicking up. Foot between the hands. Raising up for a high crescent lunge. And then we're going to twist our bodies to the right as we bring our back heel down and open our arms out into a warrior two, making sure our hands are in one nice long line, pulling back our shoulders as we just hold. Windmilling our arms down to the mat, kicking back into a plank, and we once more go into our vinyasa. Right leg kicking up nice and high, foot between the hands, coming up for your high crescent lunge, and then opening up into our warrior two. Hands down to mat, kicking back into plank, exhaling down, coming up as we inhale, and finally back to our downward dog. Left leg kicking up nice and high, foot between the hands, coming up to a high crescent lunge, open up to warrior two. Then we're going to flip our front palm and lean slightly forward as we throw our front hand up and over our head. And then with our back hand, we can either place it on our thigh or we can do a half bind as we wrap it around our backs for a reverse warrior. And back into warrior two, windmilling our hands down to the mat. And I think you know where to go from here. Left leg going up for three-legged dog. Foot between the hands as we meet in a high crescent lunge. Open up into a warrior two. Flipping our front palm as we reverse our warrior. Back into warrior 2, windmilling our hands, and meeting knee back in a plank as we go through our flow. Left leg going up nice and high. Going to a high crescent lunge. Open to warrior 2. Flipping our palm as we reverse our warrior. And then coming back into warrior 2. We're then going to place our left elbow onto our left knee. And then sweeping our right hand down to the mat. Just bring it up and over for an extended side angle. Bring the left, both hands back down and back into a plank. And you just link your breath with your movements. Right leg up nice and high. Coming into a high crescent lunge. Open up into a warrior 2. Reversing our warrior. Back to warrior 2. And now our right elbow onto our right knee. Swinging our left hand down and up as we go for an extended side angle. Really opening our shoulders back and hearts to the sky. And hands down to mat. And as we come back into plank and flow. Going through one last round on your left side. Left leg going up nice and high. Coming into a high crescent lunge. Warrior 2. Reversing our warrior. Back into warrior 2. And from here, we're going to straighten our front leg as we flip our palms out to the side, pushing our right hip back. We just tick-tock our hands down, coming into a triangle pose. Bring our left hand to our shins, and right hand reaching up to the sky. And bending our front leg as we come back into our plank. And for the last time on this side, going through our flow. Going for our last round, right foot going up nice and high, making it count. Coming into our high crescent lunge. Warrior 2. Reversing our warrior. Back to warrior 2. And straightening our front leg. Palms out to the left. Pushing our hip back. And bringing it all the way down. And down to mat. Kicking back and really making this last one count. We chaturanga down, bend our backs, nice and steep before pushing our hips up and back for our final downward dog. Guys are doing great. Now we can walk our feet towards the top of the mat, and you can meet me in a nice forward fold, letting your whole upper body hang nice and loose, just swaying from side to side, maybe even grabbing your elbows for a bit of a ragdoll. We just let gravity do all the work for us, feeling a nice release in our lower backs. You're releasing your elbows and go into a halfway lift. So taking a deep breath in, you're going to place your hands onto your shins, lifting your body up halfway, keeping a nice straight back. Before exhaling as we fold forward again and grabbing the back of our legs, pulling our chest towards our knees as close as we can get. And then releasing and relaxing into our fold. Moving on to chair, you can either keep your feet slightly apart, or if you're still new, you can bring your feet closer together. And as we inhale, we're going to lower our hips down, bring our hands up above our head as we just sit down into our pose. Either keep your hands up above your head, or you can bring your palms together at the heart center. And then finding a spot in front of you just to help with your balance, you're going to slowly lean your body forward, coming onto your toes for a flying chair. Holding for 2 full breaths. Before placing your heels back down and folding forward. And meet me now in a seated position with your right leg extended. And with your left leg, you're going to place your foot on the outside of your right leg. And then placing your left hand behind your back, lifting your right hand up, and bringing your elbow onto the outside of your left leg as we twist our bodies over to the left. And like in the beginning, see if maybe you can look over your left shoulder. Releasing your legs as we move on to the other side. Left leg straightened, right foot over. And then with our right hand behind us, twisting our bodies over. We'll bring our left elbow to the outside. Just pushing our shoulders back and to the open to the left, to the right, sorry. And releasing. You're going to bring both your legs down to the mat. We're going to bring out the bottom of our feet together. We're going to go into a butterfly. So bring your feet as close to your body as far as you can. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your thighs as you push your knees down. And taking a deep inhale, you're going to exhale, folding forward over your feet. And then once you've reached as far as you can go, just relaxing into the pose. And slowly and gently coming back up. And meet me now on your backs with your legs still bent. So we're going to move on to a bridge pose. So making sure your feet are relatively close to you, making sure you can maybe even touch your heels. We're going to start off by gently lifting our hips up off the mat, followed by our lower back. Then one by one, we're going to lift one vertebra at a time, tucking our chin towards our chest as we come into our bridge. And from here, you can either hold this position, or if you want to go a bit deeper, you can grasp your hands below your back, and maybe even going onto your tippy toes. And releasing your hands, bringing your heels back down to the mat. As we lower our backs, going down one vertebra at a time, then our lower back, and finally our hips. From here, you can just windscreen wipe your knees to the side, just getting some counter stretch to your back. And finally, you can lay your legs out. You meet me in our Shavasana. Relaxing every muscle in the body, letting your arms and feet relax to the side. We just let our mind clear and calm all our nerves and our bodies. And taking a deep breath in through the nose. And start gently introducing some movement back in our bodies, wiggling our fingers and our toes. Moving on to making circles with our wrists and our ankles. And just gently moving the different parts of our bodies, getting the feeling back. And still keeping your eyes closed, you can come meet me in a seated position, sitting up on your knees or crossed legs. Just meditate for a moment, keeping in mind everything we just did, taking note of how we feel now, how we felt in the beginning. And with one last inhale, and lift our hands up above our head. And bring it down to heart center as we exhale, bowing as we close our practice.